out of college. So, it's 101 to beat Nashville's Dolewite. What's going on, man?
What's good, man? Thank you for having me. It's 23 years, actually, believe it or not. It's been that long. Like, it's half my life at this point. It's crazy.
Yeah, man. It's wild, ain't it? Time flies when you're having fun, right?
Man, it really does. It really does.
Well, yeah, we definitely going to get into talking about this football game. We're going to talk about not the football game, but football in general. But before we get into talking about Titans and a little bit of Falcons, we're going to talk about a simple saying.
Okay.
You start as the hero, you become the villain.
Yeah.
Now, this is very, very apropos to a team that will be appearing in the Super Bowl for what seems like the 50-11th time.
Man.
That would be the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, when they started off, and Patrick Mahomes was in his second year, and people were like, wow, I've never seen something like this before. And that team, the offense was explosive, and everybody loved it. People were on that team, and they were like, man, I love watching this team. Fast forward to now. They're going to the Super Bowl again. It was an ugly game for some, and some were there's questionable calls and different things like that. But they're going to the Super Bowl again, and there's a lot of people that do not like it. And because of that, of course, like I mentioned, you're a hero. You start off a hero, you become a villain. Yeah. That's how it is when you win in sports. Ask the Lakers, ask the Bulls. The Bulls probably didn't get there because Michael Jordan retired for 2 years. If that doesn't happen, they probably get there too. I know the Patriots got there because, of course, they were like a warm story when they first started, and the together team and all that stuff. And then, people were like, we're over them, and of course, obviously the cheating and things like that. But it just seems like that with any team that's good, you start off the hero, you become the villain, and that just seems to be the theme of dynasties and teams like that. You got any thoughts, Dolewite?
I just think it's hard for me personally to pick this game because I'm like everybody else. I don't want to see the Chiefs win again. I mean, three-peat would be dope in football. Is never happened before, which would be cool. But on the other hand, like this is the struggle for me is I like the Eagles players more. Like I like Jalen Hurts. I like Saquon Barkley. I like Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter and Nakobe Dean and all those guys from UGA. But like Eagles fans, like I legitimately dislike them. They're very obnoxious. I don't like Eagles fans. So like seeing them happy, the thought of seeing them happy is rough for me. Also, like, I mean, come on, man, the Chiefs again. Like and the thing is, like, and I don't gamble, but like if I did, like, is anybody betting against them at this point? Like, is anybody dumb enough to bet against the Chiefs at this point? Like, what have they shown you to make you think they're going to fall off? Like, it's no matter what happens, no matter what the regular season looks like. In this regular season, I mean, they lost what? Did they lose one or two? I think
that's 2 games.
2 games, and the last one didn't count because it was like when it started, right? Yeah. So, all right. So they technically really lost 1 game, right? It just doesn't matter. And I remember either a year or 2 ago, it was like they were okay in the regular season, and Mahomes hadn't had a great year or whatever, and they won it anyway. So it doesn't even matter. Like none of this matters. They're probably going to win again, and that is what it is. Like I wouldn't bet against them.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. If I'm betting in the house is not going to be bet on the Philadelphia Eagles. Even though I will say I do like the Philadelphia Eagles' chances, and of course, there is some.
I think their defense is better this time than it was. What was that, 2 years ago they met? I think
back with Gannon. Yes, Gannon and the infamous 10 yards off the line of scrimmage cornerbacks. I'm like, what is he doing here?
Yeah, I think their defense is a lot better, but I just with Mahomes, like it just doesn't seem to matter. He just finds a way. He
definitely does. You're right. Yeah. You're right. And of course, I will say that they do have veteran Vic Fangio, who is their defense coordinator now. And he definitely, at the beginning of the season, I was like, I don't know about this defense. But as the season went on, Jalen Carter was asserting himself.
Yeah.
And all those UGA dogs started getting going. Yeah, that defense started looking pretty good.
And you look at the time that those guys were drafted, and it's just like, yeah, this makes sense for them to really start get going now. You know what I mean? Like second, third year, most of them are in, I believe. And it's that time, like when guys really start stepping up and playing big, and that's what they're doing. So it shouldn't be surprising at all.
It shouldn't be. It is and isn't. But hey,
Yeah.
What is surprising, I will say, as we transition, is the Falcons. Now, the Falcons
in January. I'm happy about this. Like this haven't done this in 7 years. Sorry, I mean, you're right.
No, you good. You good. But now before the season, talking about the Falcons in January, the hope was talking about, for Falcons fans was talking about the Falcons in January in the playoffs. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. But just to talk about the beginning of the season, the energy going into the season with this team, you have Jesse Bates, then you bring on Justin Simmons, a prize free agent. Yeah. You go get Kirk Cousins. You got this exciting wide receiver core.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? What was the energy you were feeling going into the season?
I felt hopeful. I didn't feel like we were going to dominate or anything like that. I felt like we would be good and make the playoffs. I didn't have much faith in Kirk Cousins. And I watched the Falcons, bro. Like I watched the Falcons and I keep my eye on the Titans. And then, whatever ball game might be on that's close, I'll turn on. So like the rest of the league, I haven't watched much Kirk Cousins until he came to the Falcons. But I was excited. It was nice to see. I love Drake London. I think he's a great receiver. I love Bijan Robinson. I love those guys. So yeah, it was exciting. It was exciting to have, somebody from the McVay system come in with that offense. And, Shanahan, McVay system are both very similar. And the last time we had a system like that was, 2016 when we went to the Super Bowl. So I was excited. I thought we would win the division. And It looked like halfway through the season, that was going to be the case. And man, was it not?
It definitely was. And we're going to talk about the quarterback of the team for most of the season. And that would be Mr. Kirk Cousins. We're going to talk about him in a second, though. We got a whole segment for him.
All right, I'm ready.
But I just want to keep it on the rest of the team, which, of course, first round pick, Michael Penix Jr. You draft him with the 8th overall pick, and people are collectively like this.
Wow.
So yeah, but he ends up getting on the field because Kirk O'Banks can't get the thing done. Yeah. So what you thought you saw of him. What do you think is what are your thoughts on him in terms of going to the future?
I am all in on Michael Penix Jr., bro. Like I am Michael Penix Jr. #1 fan. I'm ready for the season start right now. I mean, he had 3 games with those guys, and in that third game, I mean, Bijan hit for 170, and I believe Drake had 18 catches for 187 yards. Two out of 3 of those games, he brought us down and scored a touchdown to tie the game and never got the ball again. I mean, it was making throws that and it wasn't just, I don't know if you watched any of dude's tape, if you saw his highlights, his arm is ridiculous.
Hold on, before you get started, I just want to say he is left-handed like me. So, he's automatic. I'm automatically a fan of his.
Okay, I love that. Yeah, I love that. No, he is, his arm, he's got a cannon. He throws nothing but missiles. It's wild, and some of the ball placement that we saw in those 3 games was encouraging to say the least. And yeah, man. I mean, he had 3 picks, a pick in each game, and none of them were on him. Like one of them was I don't know if you saw the first one, but I mean, Kyle Pitts had his hands on the ball and basically pitched it to another player. Ray McLeod had a drop, and then the one in Washington was said to be the receiver ran the wrong route and he threw it to a spot, and there was nobody there but the corner. So I mean, he had 3 picks, none of them were his fault. And just to see the chemistry with Drake London in that third game, Mooney was out and Drake you knew the ball was going to Drake. And they found a way to get it done every time. 18 catches, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns for Drake London in that last game. That's crazy stats, man. We haven't seen stats like that since Julio. You know what I mean? So seeing that and seeing the guys kind of come alive was amazing. And also, like, I think it gave a lot of people more confidence in offensive coordinator Zach Robinson's offense, because we were doing things that we didn't do the rest of the year with Kirk Cousins. Like, we did a lot more play action. We did a lot of things that it just looked a lot better with Penix in there than it ever did with Kirk, and just felt good, man. That kid's got heart, man. Like, he has no fear. Like, that ball to Kyle Pitts to tie the Washington game and go to overtime. That throw was there was one spot on the field he could have put it, and he got it there, and Pitts caught it. And I mean, Pitts has been disappointing.
Very.
But man, like, to see that, like, it's encouraging. I'm ready for the season to start tomorrow, man. Like, I am all in on Michael Penix Jr.
Okay, well, I will tell you, speaking of the season starting and next season being a big season, of course they obviously didn't make the playoffs. We mentioned that, but is it hot seat time for anyone in the organization for you? I know people have mentioned Raheem Morris. I know people have mentioned people in the front office. So is it hot seat time in your opinion?
Not for me, no. I like Raheem a lot, and I like Terry as well, the GM, and I think Raheem will. I feel like we can win. I feel like we're going to win the division next year if Penix plays like he did those last 3 games of the year. Terry Fontenot, I know a lot of people are iffy on him. I like Terry Fontenot. I think he's had some hits and some misses, but I think that's the GM game. And I also think, like, you have to give time. This is the thing that, like, I didn't like about the Titans letting go of Rand Carthon is, like, I feel like a GM's work should be judged over you have to give him enough time for his players to develop. You know what I mean? Like, they can draft guys and a lot of guys aren't great in their rookie year. Like, regardless of where they're drafted, it takes time to develop guys. And I think you have to let those guys develop before you can say this guy's got an eye for talent or he doesn't. I mean, we brought in Bates, we brought in Simmons, and Simmons had an off year, but he was never a liability. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have a great season, but he wasn't a liability back there. He wasn't like people were throwing near Justin Simmons. No, like, you're not going to do that. You know what I mean? And so, I like what Terry Fontenot has done building the team. I just think it just didn't get done last year, man. Like, and it would have gotten done had we switched to Penix earlier. Period.
Okay. So, all right. Okay.
Yeah, it's nobody's fault that happened. I just feel like they stuck with him too long, and I understand why they did. I know that a lot of that is politics, things that we don't understand if we're not in the front office or in these coaching positions. But I mean, had they gone to Penix earlier, we would have won that division. I say that, and I fully believe that.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about the former quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to talk about Mr. Kirk Cousins. Kirk O'Bangs is what they call him sometimes, but this year he couldn't make it rain. He was throwing nickels and pennies. Yes. But we're going to talk about Kirk Cousins right after the commercial break on touring the AFC South.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are two of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off all these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get these the EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash.
Alrighty, we are back on touring the AFC South. We opened up talking about the Falcons. Of course, I couldn't bring Dolewite on here and not talk about his favorite team. But, we're going to talk about another player, a main player on the Atlanta Falcons season, and one that plenty may say maybe cost them some of the season. That would be Kirk Cousins. Now, the big money Kirk Cousins, he doesn't leave a bag. He doesn't leave a bag anywhere.
He doesn't.
He is claiming all money, all of it, guaranteed too.
Wow.
But of course, he landed with the Falcons this offseason, and plenty were saying he's the missing piece, and he's better at quarterback. Desmond Ridder, and all those different things, but it seems like he was a shell of himself this year. He couldn't really move around, things like that. And, the Falcons will undoubtedly release him at some point this offseason, and he may get a Russell Wilson deal next year. For those that don't know, Russell Wilson played for pennies this year because the Denver Broncos are still paying him. But just in regards to Kirk Cousins, did you like the signing originally when he came to the Falcons?
I wasn't – I knew it was an upgrade from Desmond Ridder. I wasn't excited. No, I wasn't mad about it either. I was just like, all right, like I get why they want to do it. It's the safest thing to do. I was just like, okay, like I was like, okay, we can win some games with him. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
So it was cool. It was
it's
mid.
Kind of like
it was mid. That's what kids say. It was a mid.
Yeah, but hey, I will say this though. Listen to Bomani Jones and what was it? And Dragonfly Jones talk about it. Mid gets a bad rap. Mid is exactly what it is. Mid is just it's average. It ain't terrible, but it ain't great.
Yeah,
it's just
that's what I thought about Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. So I just want to throw that definition out there and shout out to Bomani Jones. The Right Time with Bomani Jones. I watched that religiously. So he definitely has played a hand in this show becoming what it is. But he probably doesn't know that, but maybe one day he will. But so as far as Kirk Cousins, just watching him, like I mentioned, he's kind of immobile, tore the Achilles last year. One, did he look healthy to you? And did he look healthy to you regarding playing out there? And did he just look like maybe someone that was a shell of himself out there?
So to me, I remember the first game against Pittsburgh, and it was just bad. It was like, what are we doing? Like, we scored 10. Defense didn't give up a touchdown in that game, which if our defense doesn't give up a touchdown, we got to win that game, bro. Like, that doesn't happen often for us. You know what I mean? But and then the Philly game happened. I thought he was okay in the Philly game. And of course, the end of the game, he just takes us down the field in absolutely no time at all. And we score the touchdown, throws the ball to Drake, and we get the touchdown. And it was crazy to come back from where we were. And I thought he was okay in that game. And then we moved on to Kansas City the next week, and he was okay against Kansas City. Not horrible, but okay. And then we had the big game, I believe, against the Bucks. That's the one that went into overtime, and Hodge had the touchdown in overtime, and Kirk threw for I think 509, if I'm not mistaken. It was like over 500 yards, and I was like, okay, it took 4 games, but he's back, and I see why they signed this guy. I'm in. Like, let's do this. And then things went well for a minute. I mean, we started the season 6-3. I think that was going into Seattle? They may have been going. I remember the Seattle game for me was like, all right, what happened to all this Magic stuff? We lost to Seattle. I mean, they didn't kill us, but we never were in that game. Mm-hmm. And that's the game where I was just like, I don't know. And then we played the Bucks again. He had an efficient game against the Bucks, and then it was kind of downhill from there. Like the game for me, where I was like, they've got to pull him at least for this game, was San Diego. We were playing San Diego, and again, the defense didn't give up a touchdown that game. So that's 2 playoff teams, 2 teams that went to the playoffs that our defense did not give up a touchdown against. The only touchdowns that the Chargers had. Did I say San Diego? I still call them San Diego. Lost Chargers. Yes, Chargers. Anyway, I'll call them the Chargers. The only touchdown the Chargers had was a pick 6 thrown by Kirk, and I think he had 4 picks that game. But even early in that game, I remember watching like some of his completions. They were ducks, man. Like the receivers were having to the ball wasn't where the ball should be. You know what I mean? It was just throwing things out there, and I was like, I think they should pull him. And then when he pulled that, he threw the pick six, and that was that. And then was it the week after? I think we lost again the week after, and then we had the Raiders on Monday night, and we beat the Raiders well enough, but you could still see he just didn't have it. And that's when they finally made the switch. But they should have made that switch coming out of the bye week, at least after pick number 2 against the Chargers. To me, like, he needed to sit down at that point, and we could have won that. I feel like Penix would have won that game. He would have gotten 1 touchdown. We would have won that game against the Chargers if Penix was in. And I mean, Kirk's just throwing touchdowns to the wrong team. So, you know,
yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you know, he's had a little bit more time now to be, you know, get more healthy from Achilles tear. Of course, also, he's in his 30s. He's in his mid to late 30s. He's not going to be the same guy anymore. That just is what it is. Kind of like with Dan Marino when he tore his Achilles, he never was the same guy in terms of moving around, and he was younger.
Yeah,
when he tore his. So to me, you know, of course, but there's, you know, this team called the Tennessee Titans in Nashville, and a lot of the talk is around the quarterback position. Now, some people think they're going to draft a quarterback. Some think they're going to trade the pick. Some think they're going to go get a veteran and draft a quarterback. I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios out there, a lot of different names, like Sam Darnold's been mentioned, the Derek Carr has been mentioned, and there's also Kirk Cousins, and his name has been mentioned here when it comes to Titans. It's, you know, it's rumors. Nobody's confirming anything. But now, what would you think if the Titans went out and got Kirk Cousins to be a quarterback on this roster?
I would think that they're going to use that number 1 pick to draft a quarterback and have him sit. Because there's no other I mean, what are you going to get out of Kirk at this point? 1 year tops? What do you do after that? So I think at that point, I think if it comes down and the Titans take Kirk Cousins off our hands, which I wouldn't have a problem with, I think at that point. But I will say this about Kirk though, like, I feel like Penix was better having studied under Kirk for all those weeks. I do feel like, I mean, Kirk is a great locker room dude. Like, always had all the right answers. When he got benched, he took it like a man. He called Penix himself and was like, and was there for him, you know what I mean? And like helped him. And, you know, I don't know that there'd be a better quarterback to bring in a younger quarterback than Kirk to learn under. Like, I don't know that there's anybody in the league that would be better at that. Just because Kirk is just he's an embracing guy. And I mean, you heard in Penix's first press conference, he was like, you know, you'll never get me to say anything bad about Kirk Cousins. Like, I love Kirk Cousins. Like, he shown me everything. So, I mean, I think if they took him, I think that's a definite sign that they would probably be going quarterback at number 1 there, either Cam or Shadeur.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely going to get into Cam versus Shadeur, but I also want to mention as well, you know, Kirk Cousins also was, you know, stated to say that he didn't agree with the decision, but, you know, he's going to support and you know, everything with Michael Penix, things like that. So do you think that he would go to any team and accept a bridge quarterback role, being that he kind of still views himself as a starter in the NFL?
I don't think he has a choice. I mean, I'm not an NFL GM. I don't watch tape. I've watched every game that he played this year. I don't understand how, like, I think he's a realistic guy. I don't think he can really think that. I don't think there's any way he thinks that he's anything other than a bridge quarterback at this point. Like, I don't think there's any way he could believe that.
Well, I will tell you, hey, you'd be amazed with some of the thoughts of people and what they think of themselves.
I think Kirk is a pretty realistic person, though. Like, I mean, he's going to say what he's going to say in press conferences to sound competitive, and, you know, I get that, but I mean, I don't think there's any way he really believes it. I mean, he's a realistic person. Like, he knows, you know, he's on the tail end of this thing, and teams need quarterbacks longer than 1 year. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Now, of course, it would be funny to me because he became he had the chains on and all those different things
Yeah,
when he came
he
to
was
Atlanta.
enjoying it. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
enjoying it. It was a nice ride for 6 weeks,
to
9 weeks, whatever it was. It was fun.
right,
It was
right.
fun.
He tried to swag
It
surf
ended.
too, and that was funny,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. It was.
You know,
We
my boy is the one. I think Raphael Haynes of 3-point conversion. He actually was one. I think he asked him about the swag surf and things like that. So yeah, so he actually covers the Atlanta Falcons.
We had a fun time there for 9 weeks this season, man. Like Kirk was a lot of fun for that, and his personality is really good, really cool. And we had fun for 9 weeks, and then it ended. And I've never seen anybody kind of fall off that quick. And I'm surprised it hasn't come out that he had suffered some kind of other injury. I'm surprised that hasn't come out because I don't know that I've never seen Father Time catch up with somebody in 1 week. You know what I'm saying? Like I've never you know what I mean? It's normally a gradual process, but no, with Kirk, man, it just went and it was over. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Raphael Haynes and 3-point conversion, by the way. But definitely want to get into this quarterback position. But it'd be funny though if he actually did sign here and he'd come out in the press conference and say he's gone country. That would be hilarious to me. I would crack up laughing, man. But of course, there are 2 other quarterbacks that are vying for the number 1 spot. That would be Cam Ward and Shadeur Sanders. We're going to talk about those 2 right after the commercial break on Touring the AFC South. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business. All right, and we are back on Touring the AFC South, episode 318, quarterback options for the Titans. Now, there are 2 quarterbacks that are vying for the number 1 spot. Yeah, as soon as I said that, I started thinking about Ludacris and number 1 spot, taking it back to the day. But we'll get on some music later on in the game portion of the show. But Cam Ward definitely was a man amongst boys playing for the University of Miami. I mean, he's cool, calm, precise in the backfield throwing the football, and he also just made plays. He had to make plays because the Miami defense wasn't stopping anybody. Yeah. So, so he definitely did his thing and had a great season. It's an amazing story to watch him be a 0-star quarterback coming out of high school to where he is now. Awesome story. But another awesome story is Shadeur Sanders. Shadeur Sanders, son of Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, as they call him.
Falcon great, Deion Sanders.
Yeah, Falcon great. There you go. Falcon great. But yeah, definitely for those that don't know, actually Deion was a quarterback when he was in high school.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was a quarterback when he was in high school. So it's not a stretch of the imagination that one of his sons plays quarterback. Yeah. So, definitely Shadeur handles a lot of different things well. He was actually played in the pro style offense, and they helped bring up Colorado to the level they are now. So have you had a chance to watch any of those 2, or watch any of the highlights or anything?
So I've seen both of them, and I'm not going to sit here in front like I paid well attention to them during the college season. I've watched college football in the background. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'll watch college football and I'll be on my phone, or it's not like when I'm watching the Falcons or a good NFL game, I'm like just all the way in it. I do know this. I know it depends on what the Titans want to be. And first of all, I want to say that, like, if there is one position that is unknown, who was the last really like sure thing quarterback to come out of college? They were saying Trevor Lawrence could not miss, and we're watching Trevor Lawrence kind of miss. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you never know with this position. It's crazy because, I mean, out of all the people in the world, there's how many really good NFL quarterbacks? 10 right now?
Maybe
15. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's just so it's really hard to know. There is no sure thing with this position. I know Shadeur is going to come with a lot more publicity and a lot more eyes, and maybe that's what you're looking for. Because if you're looking for, to put butts in the seats, you're going to take Shadeur. You know what I mean? Like, period, point blank. That's who you're going to take. But I think one thing that I've noticed over the past couple of years is just, for me, I think the main thing has to be who has the better, more accurate arm and who has the better ball placement, who can put the ball where they need it to be. And I think that's where CJ Stroud kind of transitioned to the NFL so well. He could put the ball where he needs to put the ball, right? So I would, and I'm not sure which one of them has those qualities. Like I said, I'm not well versed, but whichever one I felt like had that, if I'm the GM of the Titans, that's who I'm taking. You think that's Cam Ward? From the way you described him, it feels like you felt like that was Cam Ward.
Nah, I would actually say Shadeur is probably the one better with the ball placement and things like that. Okay. Cam is more of a guy that, you could tell as the season went on, he was kind of feeling himself even more and more and more. Mm-hmm. Like one time he's sitting in the pocket, he just literally is just standing there. Don't have his arm up to throw the football. He's just standing there. And I'm like, is he really just doing this? But he made a play. I was like, yeah that dude is feeling himself. He thinks he is Michael Jackson and the Prince back there. But yeah, ultimately, do you think they draft? I'm gonna ask you this: what do you think happens if they trade this pick and don't draft a quarterback and they get a veteran quarterback? What do you think is the reaction in Nashville?
I don't think it's going to be good. I mean, what veterans can they get? They can get Kirk. They can get Darnold. Those guys don't put butts in seats, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody's. I just. They would have to start off really hot to start selling games out. You know what I mean? And I wouldn't start either one of these quarterbacks game one. I'm a firm believer that most rookies probably should sit at least, some of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think from the Titans, if I'm a Titans fan and, I've been kind of in this position before as a Falcons fan, we've been terrible plenty of times and have picked very high plenty of times. I would, if I'm a Titans fan, I want, let's start over. Give me Shadeur, give me Cam, and let's go. And let's build around that. That's me.
Now,
I get trading it back and getting a ton of picks. I understand that. I just think when you do that, you're telling your fan base, hey, we're not going to win this year.
Mm-hmm. We're not even going to try.
Not even going to try. These draft picks. And I feel like if you're Coach Callahan and that's what the direction they want to go, that, like, I'm here to coach this horrible team this year. And that's it. Like, I would feel like a sitting duck if I were Brian Callahan, if they decided not to draft a quarterback this season.
I'll tell you what, now I've got another scenario for you. Now, there's a guy named Abdul Carter that's from Penn State that a lot of people have talked about.
Would love to have him on the Falcons, yes.
Now, if he ended up going as the first overall pick, what you still think people would go crazy, or do you think they would be like, okay, now we have an edge rusher in the defense that could potentially change the game?
I think you have a defense that could potentially change the game, but I don't think you can score points.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I think that's great. And I think Abdul Carter is generational. And I get it if they want to do that. And I think they'll be very good in 3 to 4 years if they draft, Abdul Carter. I think people in Nashville are tired of the Titans' offensive approach. As good as Derrick Henry was here, and Derrick Henry was, the most exciting the Titans have played in God knows how long, since CJ 2K's 2K season, right? I think that they're ready to air the ball out a little bit, because that's never really been the identity of this football team. And you see the rest of the league, they can air it out for the most part. I was going to use Philadelphia. I was going to say, look at the Super Bowl, but I mean, Philadelphia ran the ball all year. And they are, but they also have a generational defense and Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Like they're loaded. Devontae Smith, they are loaded over there. You know what I mean?
Very much.
I just think that I think if you're a Titans fan, you want to hit the long ball now. Like it's time. Mm-hmm. It's time to start playing the rushing game. You know what I mean? Like do something else.
Yeah, definitely is. I will say last year they did try to open it up a little more. Of course, with the quarterback issues, they didn't quite work out. They did have some games that were explosive though, but they just weren't explosive all the time.
Levis has a cannon, bro. Like he can.
Yeah. You just don't know where the cannon's going to go all the time.
Yeah. It's an aiming problem. It's just, you know what I
mean? Yeah. I'm just like, man, okay. Because, honestly, I'm sitting there in the booth watching some of the throws, and I'm like, oh, no, don't throw it. Don't throw it. Yeah, he threw it. I'm literally like looking.
His first game was against the Falcons, and he ripped us up last season. Ripped us up. I was there, unfortunately. Spent all that money to watch that.
Yeah, it was wild. But we've reached the end of the questions. It's going to be interesting to see what the Titans do with the number one overall pick. And I'm definitely going to be talking about it on more shows leading up to
Who do you want?
Let's see. I kind of go back and forth. I do like Cam Ward and his potential, and I do like Shadeur Sanders and his poise. Shadeur Sanders does have experience dealing with offensive lines that have issues, like the Titans have had. And Cam Ward, he definitely is a guy that's used to carrying a team offensively, like he did with Miami. So it's pluses and minuses to both. So I could flip a coin either day, to be honest. One day I'm Shadeur, one day I'm Cam.
I think if you know what, if I'm Titans owner, GM, whatever, I'm taking Shadeur. I'm like, man, give me Sports Center every day. Put my team on TV every day. Give me Shadeur.
Yeah, that's what I would do. The funniest part is you're gonna see Deion Sanders come out there in an Oilers throwback with a blue cowboy hat on, some cowboy boots. Now I'm just making up this outfit, y'all. But anyway, that would be funny. But of course, we've reached the end of the show. But of course, we do also have a game. It's 5 questions, 2 answers, and 1 choice. Dolewite, are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. You got the Chiefs or the Eagles. Who are you picking to win the Super Bowl?
The Chiefs. I'm not picking against Mahomes ever. Ever.
Oh man. Yeah, it's hard to pick against him. Now, let's see. Got 2 songs. We got 85 by Youngbloods or Black Ice by Goody Mob. Which song are you taking?
Oh, that's tough, but it's Black Ice because of Andre 3000's verse.
Yeah, Andre was man. Every time Andre on, he's the one that puts you over the top on everyone.
Yeah, favorite rapper, man. Like, come on, Andre 3000.
Yeah. All right. What safety do you like better, Jesse Bates or Justin Simmons?
Jesse Bates.
Jesse Bates. Okay, I figured that one out.
I like Justin Simmons though, but Jesse makes way more plays.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Hawks title or Falcons title? Which one would you think happens first? Which one do you think happens first?
Oh, that's tough. But I think it's the Falcons. The Hawks are always going to be mid.
Yeah. Yeah, I admit they will.
They're always going to be mid.
They will never get a generational talent to decide, hey, I want to go play in Atlanta.
Yeah, no.
That's something you never heard. Just like you'll never hear, hey, Cleveland Browns or the Cleveland Browns are Super Bowl contenders continually. You'll never hear that.
Yeah, either. No. I'll go Falcons. As much BS if they put me through, I'm going Falcons.
Well, they've been there more recently.
Yeah, I hope that happens before I die. That's all I want is one championship before my days on earth are up. That's all I want to see. Falcons win it one time.
All right, we got 2 Outkast songs. We got Elevators or Bombs Over Baghdad.
Ooh, that's
song
tough.
Are you taking?
Bombs Over Baghdad.
Oh,
just
man,
because it was such a different record. Such a different record.
Was.
It was way out in left field, and people love it, and that's what I love about Outkast.
Yeah, I started to go with like I was going through the whole catalog. I was looking at it. I was like, man, let me just look at this catalog and
Yeah, it's crazy.
dang, it's crazy. Yeah,
Wow.
it's all the hits, man. All the
Yeah.
hits they had, Miss Jackson and all
Yeah.
that one, man. And then Hey Y'all, which was totally different too.
Totally left
And
field. They do
Roses. Roses was
my favorite
man,
songs back in
Roses.
the day. Yeah.
What's that?
That was my favorite song back in 04, 05, whenever it was. Yeah.
Oh, that was a
03,
message.
whenever
That
it
song
was.
was a message, man.
Yeah, I loved it. Love that
Man,
record.
it's always a message. But hey, definitely love talking football with you, Dolewite, man. It's always good
Anytime.
when you come on, man. I know definitely thank you for giving me time in your busy schedule. If you can, tell everyone where they can find you. Of course, they can find you on 101.1 The Beat, Nashville, which of course is on iHeartRadio, right?
That's right. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7 p.m. on 101 The Beat. And follow me. All my social media is the same at Dolewite 101, DOLE, just like it's spelled here. DOLEWITE 101. That's it.
Cool. And of course, I'm Mike Patton, host of Touring the AFC South. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter. Yes, I say the artist formerly known as Twitter. I will not say X because the only X I recognize is DMX and Malcolm X. That is
there
it.
You go.
But you can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton 82. That's MikePatton 82. You can find me on Instagram and Threads at that's THA, not THE _general_MP. Touring the AFC South on all listening platforms, whether it be Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. And also we are on YouTube at the Mike Patton Podcast Network. I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of Touring the AFC South. We're out. Peace.